So let me get this straight. I so much want to get this straight that I've written something down. So what you're telling me is that a notoriously unscrupulous real estate mogul and fake reality star with financial ties to Russian oligarchs who was charged with running a fake university and misappropriating funds from a children's cancer charity, a guy who was elected president with the help of the Russian government and then impeached for bribing a foreign leader in exchange for dirt on his political rival, who was then later impeached for inciting an insurrection against his own country, a guy who was convicted by a jury of his peers of 34 felonies related to falsifying business records in order to cover up an affair with an adult film star in the lead up to an election, who was also convicted of defrauding the state of New York to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars, who was also found liable for defamation and rape, a guy who ran a terrible campaign that was majorly outspent by his opponent and that was almost entirely funded in his final weeks by tech billionaires, including the richest man in the world, who was known to have been speaking regularly with Putin and who told Tucker Carlson that if his team didn't win the election, he would probably be going to jail, as well as other tech billionaires who have openly stated their opposition to democracy and who undoubtedly have the technological capability to electronically alter or misrepresent vote counts, a guy who was also supported by many far-right political leaders, including Netanyahu, who was also backed by the Heritage Foundation and other conservative think tanks that consider it a crucial religious imperative to preserve heteronormative patriarchy and white supremacy and thus avoid a Harris presidency at all costs, a guy who told his supporters that they would never have to vote again after this election, and who also told supporters multiple times that they didn't even have to vote in this election because he had, quote unquote, more than enough votes, and who also said that he and Mike Johnson had a little secret that would help him win, and who was also quoted on election night before polls had closed as saying, uncharacteristically, that it didn't look like there was any fraud happening. A guy who has made it abundantly clear that he has no respect for the rule of law or democratic norms, who has proven that he is willing to do whatever it takes to get what he wants, including potentially unaliving his own vice president. A guy who is desperate to avoid going to prison, who would be psychologically devastated by losing to a black woman, and who would, furthermore would feel totally justified in cheating because he believes he was cheated the last time. You're telling me that this proven serial cheater didn't cheat in what was easily the most consequential event of his entire lifetime, and that he still managed to win all the swing states plus the Senate and the House, all despite record voter registration and mail-in voting tallies. Is that what you're telling me? Got it.